Yo, what up, what up, what up, what up? It's your boy, P. Skip. You are now entering into best half hour of your entire Tuesday, none other than Into His Courts. The #1 faith-based sports talk show in the entire world. Yes, I said it, and I'm willing to say it again. I'm standing on it. The entire world, #1 faith-based sports talk show. T-Mac's not with me, but I do have Chili Willie. What's up?
Gracias, gracias, amigo. Let's get it. Let's get it.
There's so much to talk about. Let's do this. Check this out. Matthew chapter 18, verses 2 through 4 in the Amplified says this. And he called a little child and set him before him. And he said, I assure you and solemnly say to you, unless you repent, that is, change your inner self, your old way of thinking, live chained lives, and become like children, trusting humbly and forgiving, you will never enter into the kingdom of heaven. Therefore, whoever humbles themselves like a child is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. Now, I brought that up because there's been so much changes in the NFL. And the #1 free agent that is out there and has changed teams that everybody is scratching their head about, and that is Tom Brady.
TB12.
TB12 is no longer a Patriot. Now he is a Buccaneer. He's now playing for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And for me, I brought up the scripture because it says, you have to, verse 3 again says, I assure you solemnly and say to you, unless you repent, that is, change your inner self, your way of thinking, and life changes and become like a child, trusting humbly and forgiving, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. And so Tom Brady has to get to a place where he's got to change the way he's thinking.
I think he already off to a good start because he done changed from the New England Patriots, up north, northern team, winter to Tampa Bay, southern team, sunshine, no taxes, no state taxes.
Right.
And he has an open canvas. He has the opportunity to show everyone that, you know, although Bill Belichick is an outstanding coach, but I'm also an outstanding player, and I can show you down here in Tampa Bay. So he had to humble himself and walk away and get a new beginning, and I'm anxious to see how it goes.
I am too. But he did make a wise decision. He didn't go somewhere where the cupboard was bare.
Oh, no.
They are loaded.
The cupboard is more loaded than it was in New England.
Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. And so he's down there, and, you know, this was said, and I'm going to throw this at you. Who do you think will get a championship first? Brady down at Tampa or Belichick in New England?
Well, I think because of Brady's age and the timing of it, Brady has about 2 years. So he has to get a championship next year, this year, or next year. I don't believe he's going to get a championship this year or next year. I think there's a lot of teams that are very tough that can make it difficult for Tampa Bay. So he's going to be done playing at the most in 3 years. Belichick can be coaching for the next 5, 10 years.
Right.
So just based on the math, I think Belichick will get more of an opportunity to succeed that. But if you're saying strictly on who will get one first, I would have to go with Tom Brady because he's on the clock.
Right. I also think that Tom Brady has more years if he has a great O-line. If he's not taking hits, because he's still a surgeon.
My goodness.
He's still a surgeon.
My goodness.
That if he has the time to pick you apart, you shall be picked apart.
And it's nothing that he hasn't seen.
Right.
Just by his playoff appearances, Super Bowl appearances. So there's no coverage, no defense, no schemes that you can throw at him that he hasn't seen several times.
Right.
So as far as reacting and performing on the fly, there's probably nobody more experienced than Tom Brady. Matter of fact, I would venture to say that there is no one that has more experience than Tom Brady in the quarterback position.
Not in the league as we speak. But with that being said, him being down at Tampa, now your boy Jameis Winston is gone. Where do you think he's going? You know, he's the only guy that I think he threw for like 5,000, but still threw for 30 interceptions.
He's gone.
But where's he going?
Oh,
I better learn how to face it, he's gone. Right.
Yeah, where would he land? I mean, Jameis Winston with those. This is some of the things that the narrative that's not coming out about Jameis Winston. I'm a person who I want to support Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston is definitely a gifted, talented passer.
Right.
He led the league in passing last year.
Right.
He had over 5,000 yards
Right.
and threw 30 interceptions.
Right.
So you know he was slinging that thing. You know what I'm saying?
Slanging
He was
it.
slinging that thing. So his problem is cutting down on his mistakes. Going back to what I mentioned about Tom Brady, Jameis Winston doesn't have the experience.
Right.
He came in, he started right out the gate. When he went to college, he started right away.
Right.
He really hasn't had a chance to sit back and take a look at it and do some different things. The passage says that he needs to humble himself. This is a perfect opportunity for him to do just that.
Yeah.
Humble himself, take a step back. You're not the number one draft choice and the Heisman Trophy winner.
Right.
You someone who really needs to be a student of the game for a minute. And cutting down on interceptions is something that I think he could do. And if he cut down on his interceptions and he passed for over 5,000 yards, you know, he could very easily be in the conversation for one of the top quarterbacks in the league. So where he lands and what he does from this point forward determines how much he's willing to humble himself and learn.
I agree, you know, but what it tells me, and I'm sure that's what Brady looked at, this cat threw for 5,000 yards and 30 interceptions. I'm not throwing for 30 interceptions.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I could probably throw then for 7,000 to 8,000.
He could throw a lot.
Right.
Because Brady, I mean, you could say what you want about his age. His skill level hasn't fallen off to me.
Not even
The man
close.
is precision. He drop it in there like he walking down there and just handing the ball to people.
Right.
He is an excellent passer.
He's like, to me, he's like LeBron, the ageless one.
Yeah.
Because, you know, how old is LeBron now? 33, 34, something?
Yeah, somewhere in there. 35. He's 35.
And it doesn't look like he's taking a step back in any way. I think he's being wiser with his energy. You ain't seeing all the highlights, but you're still seeing the point production.
Yes.
He ain't trying to dunk on everybody no more.
And the thing about Tom Brady and LeBron James is you notice how they're taking care of their bodies.
Yeah, no doubt.
You know, what they put in their body, how much exercise, rest, the different things that they're doing as far as yoga and different techniques.
Right.
They're doing things that a lot of athletes are just starting to do.
Mm-hmm.
They've been doing it for a while, and it seems to be paying dividends for them.
Yeah. I think it's said that LeBron spends like $1 million a year on his body between his chef and his workouts and everything he does.
Yeah, great investment.
Considering it, I'm spending $1 million, but I'm making about 100.
Yes, good investment.
1%, you know.
Good investment.
The other question is, Cam Newton is on the move.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, where do we think he's going to land? Because let's just be honest. We have yet to see the real Cam Newton for the last 3 years because he's been injured.
Yes, yes.
Now, if Cam Newton is not injured and he has some sort of O-line, he don't even have to
he's
have
MVP.
right. He don't
He's
even have to
MVP.
have great receivers.
Right, he's an MVP. Yes, he already has that title.
Yeah. And so I'm thinking, you know, I think it got to a place where once his coach was fired, the new coach was like, yeah, I ain't cool with you. And so I just believe he's going to take this time. He's rehabilitated himself, and he's looking forward to, because now he's got a major chip on his shoulder. Wherever I go, I got to show them that I still got it.
Yeah.
And he is going to be a beast. I just hope he's wise enough not to take as many hits as he was taking.
Well, probably the most important thing with Cam is his health.
Right.
Yeah, his health. When he was healthy, he was one of the best in the league. So if he's healthy and he clears and he's healthy, then whoever get Cam is getting a good person. But one of the things that's similar between Jameis Winston and Cam Newton is they both somewhat of divas when it comes to quarterbacks. And I think that might be hurting them somewhat. That's why you can go get a Teddy Bridgewater and not be concerned about some of the other antics that comes along with a Cam Newton. Because, he's going to be dressed this kind of way and wear this kind of hat and have all these trips overseas and all of these other things that he do for attention. Some organizations are not equipped or willing to put up with that. So once again, as we go back to the passage, he's going to have to humble himself and probably stick to just his craft, football, for a while. And then once he proves himself on the football field, then maybe he can go back to some of his marketing and endorsements. But I think Cam Newton thing is it's a matter of health. If he's healthy, he's an MVP.
He's a bad man.
He's a bad man.
But I think we haven't seen any commercials on him with his endorsements. So I think that piece is kind of, he's got to rebuild his credibility with the market.
Yes.
And so once that comes about, and I think him seeing how it cost him, I think he's going to take a whole different approach to it.
Well, let me ask you this.
Sure.
Where do you think these gentlemen are going to, where do you think they will land, and where do you think is a good fit for each one? Let's just start with Jameis Winston. Where do you think is a good fit for him, and where do you think he will land?
He needs to be under a great quarterback coach. And I don't know who's really out there, because if he was to go where there's a good quarterback coach, they already have a quarterback.
Right.
And so you're talking about where would he land at needs. And right now, who really needs a quarterback?
Well, everybody going to need one after about the 8th weekend because they
Right.
get hurt.
Right.
It's a
But
war
these
of
cats ain't
attrition.
but these cats ain't gonna get paid backup money.
No, they are. They're going to have to. They're going to have to humble themselves.
Yeah, but I don't think Cam's gonna go from what he was making down to $3 million a year.
I think he's not going to have a choice.
Okay, well we'll see.
He just signed a one-year deal. They probably have signed one-year deals just to prove themselves,
Right.
And then try to capitalize out on the next free agent market.
They could. That,
But what do you think? What would be a good fit for Jameis Winston?
Well, I don't want him in our division. I don't want him in our division.
Okay.
But in our division, I think he would do great in Minnesota.
Minnesota, great.
Because they also have that dome.
Yeah, great, Minnesota.
I think he'd also, both Cam and him would do well in Indianapolis. Because the Colts, any place where it's indoor and they can keep a temperature that's because both of them are coming from decently warm places.
Right, and they played in warm weather places
Right.
in college, yeah.
So I'm thinking both of them in someplace warm, they would do well. I don't think they would do well at a place like Green Bay.
No winter stuff. And plus,
No.
Aaron Rodgers is,
Right.
you ain't getting in the game. Aaron
Right.
Rodgers is the man.
Nor do I think they do good in Buffalo,
No.
any of the New York teams, maybe Miami. But Miami needs a bunch of pieces.
Yeah, they need a lot. They're not going to win a lot in Miami.
No.
But Miami does need a quarterback.
Right.
Yeah,
And they may say, you know what? If I can make it there, I can make it anywhere.
yeah. My.
You know what? Let me hold on. Raiders may be someplace where they need it because they're already talking about the Raiders quarterback is up for trade.
Right.
So and they're getting ready to go to Vegas.
Right. Yeah.
That's up Cam's alley.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I wouldn't put Cam in Vegas. I think he might self-destruct.
Oh, man.
I don't want him in Vegas. But
Him and Mayweather together.
Man, I don't want him in Vegas, man.
That's
Too
two
much.
words.
It's too
Trouble.
much. Yeah. But
Man.
I would like to see one of them maybe go to Jacksonville.
Yep.
Jacksonville
Florida.
needs a quarterback.
Still Florida.
The quarterback that they have, I don't think he's no franchise quarterback.
No.
So Jacksonville, I think, would be a perfect fit for them, either one of them. I think San Diego would be a good fit for both of them. They got rid of Phillip Rivers, so there is a vacancy there.
Right.
Well, they're not San Diego. They're the Los Angeles Chargers. I got to start saying that. The Los
My bad.
Angeles Chargers.
Right.
You knew who I was talking about, right?
We had you.
Okay, all right.
We got
But
you.
I would say Los Angeles Chargers would be a good fit for them. And the other place that I think would be a good fit for them as far as opportunity, but not as far as weather, would be Denver And the other place I think would be very good for them, either one of them, would be Detroit because of the dome and because every year Detroit quarterback seems to get hurt. So that would give them opportunities. So those would be good landing spots, I think, for them to extend their careers.
Yeah. You know, I think, and I hate to say this over the air, but I think had not the Bears got the quarterback that they got,
Yeah.
I think that would have been a good fit for them because of the defense that they have.
Well, it would have been a good fit for Cam. I don't think it would have been a good fit for Jameis
Jameis.
Winston
Yeah,
because he
I agree.
throws too many interceptions.
I agree.
Cam doesn't throw as many interceptions,
Right.
and that Chicago crowd is unforgiving when it comes to
They are not having it.
no. You can't be in Philadelphia or Chicago if you make a lot of mistakes because they're going to let you know about it.
Right. And so, but I do think, like you said, Cam would have been good there.
I thought that was the perfect fit for him, and I thought that's where he was going to go until they made the move that they made.
Yeah. Well, listen, let's keep it moving, you know. Coming hot off the presses, straight from New York, top NBA executives are having their base salary reduced by 20% for the foreseeable future. A person with knowledge of the NBA, the details of it, has said that this is happening starting immediately. The reduction affects roughly 100 of the highest earning executives as the NBA joins the NHL and NASCAR in cutting salaries while competitors
While competitions.
Competitors.
Competitions.
Yeah, right. Competitions are on hold because of the coronavirus. So here you have executives that are saying, listen, we got to make a cut to save the league as a whole. And looking at this, we know that this isn't just something that's going to happen with the execs.
You don't think so?
Come
you don't
on.
think this is just executive? This is just white collar type stuff?
Come on, bro. When have you ever known white collar to take a cut and blue collar not pay for it? When have you ever seen that happen?
Never.
You know, and so what they're talking about doing is they're doing this immediately, and they're also talking about, you know, of course they're going to bring it to the players because NBA teams will make their next scheduled salary payments April 1st, but it remains unclear if they will get what will be their next paycheck April 15th. The league could say the pandemic falls under what is legally known as the force majeure event. The term for unforeseen circumstances such as war or epidemic, per the collective bargaining agreement. When that clause is invoked, players will lose 1.08% of their annual salary for each game missed. That means Steph Curry of the Golden State Warriors, the league's highest paid player this season, could lose about $435,000
a game.
A game.
A game. Woo.
A game.
Woo. That's a lot of cheese, man.
Hey, listen.
He's going to have a cheese headband. He can't have a hat. He's going to have a cheese headband.
You know, that's serious. That's
Man.
serious. You know, we think 1.8%, not much.
Right.
For what we're bringing in.
Yeah.
But when you start saying that's $435,000 a game.
Man.
A game.
Man.
And what is it? What's left? Like 30 games are left?
No, it's less than 30. It's probably about 22 games left on the regular season.
22 games.
Yeah, so 22 times 435.
Right, bro.
You do the math.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So this is serious because now, first of all, the players have already agreed to it.
Well, they can't not agree to it if
What
they
was
want
part
to
of the collective bargaining
They
agreement?
already agreed to it and correct. Yes.
So, and I think they understand. And I think what they did is they negotiated down to 1.08%.
Thinking it would never be invoked.
Right. Right. You know, But these guys are looking at this going, this could not be sweet in a few.
Yeah, but the other thing too that the NBA has in its favor, and all of the major league sports have in their favor, is that they can reduce this moving forward. In other words, they could actually pay them their money right now for PR and marketing and all that,
Right.
and then in the future they could say, hey, because of the money that we lost during the pandemic, then we're going to start taking gradual reductions over amount of time, and
Right.
it would ease the pain for the players and ease the pain for the leagues and the owners and all of the executives too. So they have a lot of different ways they could approach this. But when you look at it as we looked at Steph Curry's. What's the average NBA salary? The guy on the 10-day contract that just signed at a 1.08%. What would be his loss per
He
check?
would lose $9,700 per game.
$9,700 per game.
Per game. No matter how you slice it,
It's a lot of money.
that's 10 stacks you're not getting
It's a
per
lot
game.
of money. It's a lot of money. It is a lot of money. It is a lot of money.
And so you really have to look at this and go, it's like the lottery. I can get the lump sum payout,
Yes.
or I could get my money over,
Amount of time.
yeah. And what's,
My advice would be take the lump sum payout.
right, at this point.
Anytime, because you can manage your own money. Don't let them manage your money.
But the players, from what I understand, talking to NBA players, some friends who played in league, you have a choice of how you get paid.
Right.
You
Correct.
can get paid weekly,
Yes.
bi-weekly,
Or monthly.
monthly. I've also told seasonally
Yes.
and bi-yearly or yearly.
Yearly. I know I had some friends who played pro baseball, and they told me the exact same thing. So I don't know anybody from basketball. You know what? I do remember Glenn Robinson saying that when he played. Yeah. So that's
So for those of you who said, I want to get paid bi-yearly, you got half your money already.
yeah.
So whatever that reduction is going to be,
Yeah.
that ain't hit half my money.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it makes you go, how do I want to do this in case something like this ever happens again?
Yeah.
Is there going to be something in collective bargaining that says, you got to we want to tell you when you get paid?
And then you think about this, Pastor. They might have to make some adjustments on the league when it does start back up.
Definitely.
We hoping and praying that it starts back up sooner rather than later. But when they start back up, they may have to cut some games. They might have to take the playoffs and change it from 7-game series to 5-game series. There's some things they may have to do. Right. All of that is going to impact you because you get paid on a per game basis.
Right.
So those are things that you can't. You're going to have to agree with the collective bargaining agreement doesn't cover. So the Players Association and the league are going to have to come to an agreement about those
Right.
type of things as they move forward. Now, for me personally, I think they should pick the season up where it ended and take it all the way to wherever it ends and decide on what they're going to do starting with next season. That's what I think they should do.
Well, what I've heard is they're going to have a full season.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping they have that.
They said they're going to have a full season, which means there could be basketball all the way up to July.
Yes, or further, yeah.
Yeah. And so, which then, now basketball is competing with baseball.
Yes.
And all these other things. And I personally am happy about it.
Yes.
But for what it did was it shortened their offseason.
Sure,
is what you're
and it
talking
changed the position of their offseason. That's
Right.
the way I see it.
Right.
I think they could cut down they could make the playoffs best out of 5 series instead of best out of 7 series, and that would be fair to everybody.
It would to a certain extent, but as a consumer and a fan that goes to these games, I want all 7 of my games.
And the people who own the teams want all 7 of their paydays.
Right.
Yeah, but
Right.
but just because it's
And players, hey, listen, I'm already losing.
right.
No, I want to play all them games.
Yeah.
Plus, I'm healthy now.
Yeah, but these are all conversations that
Right.
ownership and the Players Association got to have.
Yeah, speaking of, all of this that's going on, Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell just got cleared.
Oh, okay.
Of
That's
the
good
coronavirus.
Good
So-
news. Good news.
So, now you're seeing players who were infected are now being cleared. The Saints coach was cleared.
Right. And Christian Wood from Detroit
Yeah.
has also been cleared. So the only person now that we know of are the two players from the Lakers and Marcus Smart that haven't been cleared yet. Is that correct?
Right. They haven't been cleared yet. But I think Marcus Smart just announced it maybe about a week ago.
Okay, so he's
And it usually takes about 14 days
okay.
for it to get out of your system or for you to be cleared. And so, you know, with that being said, this has been a very, very different season for me. I have never lived my life without some sort of sports.
No, none of us have.
You know, and now I'm looking at this going, man, how many games of Monopoly can I play with my kids?
Man.
You know,
Man.
my wife is finding things for me to do right now.
Man.
That to-do list, I thought, hey, listen, I'm going to get some of this done. She's like, oh, I had a backup list for you. And pulls out the scroll on me.
My wife she's still working because she works in the medical field. So she's working every day. So I don't have the backup list thus far. But it's been interesting. It's been a time for us to, you know, lucky for me and lucky for you, that, you know, our family members enjoy each other.
Right.
You know, we spend time and hang around each other anyway.
Right.
And that's just normal for us. It's nothing for me to see you with the kids somewhere, or Melville with the kids. That's normal. Same thing with me.
Right.
But it's some people who don't do that at all.
No.
Don't hang with their parents and don't hang out with their kids. I bet you it's some tension in those type of households.
Oh, my goodness. You
Man.
homeschooling?
Man.
You homeschooling and whatnot? Like, now, let me ask you a question, just off script. Are your kids dating?
Yes.
Are you allowing their boyfriend, girl, whatever, who they're dating, to come to the house?
No.
Not at all.
No. Well, my daughter boyfriend can come to the house because we have a duplex.
Right.
So downstairs we have a space where it's just vacant because we do it,
Right.
you know.
Right.
So he can come by and she can go by his house. But my son, who's 18, he can't go by anybody's house, and nobody can come by our house.
My daughter Kayla, who'll be 20 next week, her boyfriend comes by the house, and I told him, I said, listen, you can't come back over here again unless you smell like Lysol.
Well, like I said, the boyfriend comes over, but
he comes over, bro, and
they
I'm
go
on it.
downstairs. You know, they're not around us, and you know, and she goes by his house. But you know, my daughter's 22, so But as far as my son, no, we're trying to have the least amount of unnecessary interaction as possible. When I leave here, I got to go pick up a prescription, but I'm going through drive-through.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, so I was just wondering because at my house, I'm going, listen, you can't come here, and if I don't smell Lysol or Purell or something on you, you can't come through the door.
Yeah.
And it's not that I'm fearful, because there is no fear.
Yeah.
But I know what's happening with my family.
Right.
I don't know what cautions you've been, I don't know.
Exactly.
And every time somebody comes to the, and we very rarely, he's like one of the only people we let come to the, and every time he comes, we wiping everything down. When my daughter comes in from work, we wiping everything. Yeah. I mean, we're not playing that, man.
No, well, it's just a matter of being smart. That's the key thing. It's not being discriminatory or paranoid. It's just being smart and cooperating with the professionals.
Right.
And they've told us in no uncertain terms that we need to be practicing social distance and that we need to be real cautious about interacting with people. And we just need to take heed to that, and that's going to be best for everybody.
Yeah, you know, listen, God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind.
Yes.
We're not afraid of anything, but ignorance is not recognizing that there is a wolf outside.
Yes.
And you going outside to play.
Yes. Yes.
That's ignorant.
Yes.
There's a wolf outside.
Yes.
Stay in the house until they figure out where that wolf is, or capture him, or kill him, or whatever. Then go outside and play.
Well, everybody don't have the same amount of intelligence.
Common sense just ain't common.
It just, everybody, you know, I mean, I drove by and I seen people playing basketball on the basketball court when I drove by the park. So, people do things different. And, everybody has the right to do some things different. But in this particular time, my advice to all of us would be to, check on your elders, friends, family members,
doubt.
make sure they're healthy, and just take the advice of the experts and stay home. This is a good time for you to enjoy your home, your house, your family, get to know each other. We've been watching, as a family, we watched Madam C.J. Walker's story, and now we're in the middle of watching the history of hip-hop.
Oh, okay.
We're watching that together, and it's been fun.
Yeah, we've been watching Malcolm X.
My cousin Mark told me, don't watch that because once you start watching it, you can't stop watching it.
Right, and that's
he
what
said
we
you'll
did.
be up all night watching that. He said, so don't start watching that. So
What we've done is, me and Melva have watched it. We watch one episode a night.
okay,
That's it.
and
That's
you
all
cut
we
it
do.
off, so
Right.
you got discipline.
Right. So
Yeah.
we've been doing that, So, well, listen, y'all. Great show. Thanks for hanging out with us again. Until we see you next week, same bat time, same bat channel right here. Joy 1340 AM, 98.7 FM. The #1 faith-based sports talk show in the entire world. Into its courts. Until next week, stay safe, stay in love, stay out of fear, and peace.
Peace.